Over the years, there have been many video game platforms that have risen and fallen. Arcade machines, video game consoles, and PCs are all unique and fun ways of playing video games depending on what you're interested in. However, in recent memory, no platform has risen as quickly and as controversially as mobile games. Mobile games will often be criticized for many things, but in most cases it boils down to boring, repetitive, simple gameplay with lack of depth or pay-to-win mechanics that reward players who buy many microtransactions. Because of this, depending on who you ask, most people will lump the $2 mobile platformer Geometry Dash with the others, just a repetitive rage game in which a cube jumps over some spikes. However, what if you ask another person, perhaps someone who's been playing this seemingly simple 2D game for several years? The answers will vary. Some will answer that amazing levels are still being made to this day by dedicated members of the community, while others may tell you that the game is a sunken ship, long past the days of its prime. What does it all mean? How could the community of a once simple mobile platformer be the source of so much innovation, so much difficulty, and so many masterpieces? Well, from the start to the present day, I'll tell you the entire story of Geometry Dash. To understand the story of Geometry Dash, we must travel to a time before Geometry Dash. On the 29th of November in the year of 2009, an unknown game developer that goes by the name of Fluke Dude finished developing a platformer called Impossible Game. Impossible Game has a very simple control scheme. The cube will dash forward no matter what, so all you really need to do is tap your screen to jump. Impossible Game's levels were made to be synced with the music that played in the background. These music tracks all mostly follow the same formula. They are mostly under the EDM genre, known for their beat drops, a phrase used to describe when a song gets more intense. Impossible Game levels are known for getting harder exactly when the beat drops. There's 3 different levels in the game, all with different music tracks. The first level was Fire Aura, which was an introductory level which taught you the basic mechanics of the game and what would happen if you crashed into a spike, contacted a wall, or fell onto the black pixels of the ground. The second level was Chaos Fantasy, seemingly a normal level, however when the beat drops, everything flips upside down. Everything still controls the same, but it can appear confusing to any new players. Finally is the third level, Heaven, which gets most of its difficulty from a timing that has become infamous. This timing is the triple spike, which is 3 spikes lined up in a row. As a 4 spike jump is impossible, 3 spike jumps are as difficult as it gets in this game, and certain parts of this level will have many of these treacherous timings grouped up together. While Impossible Game would eventually be updated with a 4th level known as Phase D, nothing else would come of this game, and it would occasionally get relevancy when a video was recorded of someone raging. It would take a few years for someone to execute the idea of Impossible Game to its fullest potential, and the first person to jump at expanding the idea of the Impossible Game was none other than Swedish game developer Topala, who goes by the pseudonym of Robtop Games. Robtop mainly worked on developing games for the App Store, hoping that one of the games that he made would crack the code on mobile gaming virality. He hadn't found a lot of success with the games that he made, but that wouldn't stop him from trying. Eventually, Robtop came across the Impossible Game, and similarly to how he replicated puzzle games like Candy Crush to make Boomlings, he would replicate Impossible Game to make Geometry Dash. He was eventually able to construct a beta version of Geometry Dash, and he uploaded what he made to YouTube. This is the first time anyone saw Geometry Dash, however it went by the name of Geometry Jump. This video showcased the first ever Geometry Dash level titled Ultimate Destruction. To the casual viewer, it seemed pretty familiar to its predecessor, but most would consider it to be better than Impossible Game. It seemed to have better visuals and more gameplay mechanics such as the jump pad and the orb. Robtop even had another trick up his sleeve, the ship mode. If you held down on your screen, the ship would fly up, and if you released it would hover down, and it was briefly showcased in Ultimate Destruction. However, this level didn't last very long, as TMM43, the maker of the song, never messaged Robtop back verifying if he could use it or not. Luckily, other music artists, most from the multimedia content sharing platform Newgrounds, did support Robtop. Robtop was able to acquire 7 songs for the main levels of the game. The first level was Stereo Madness, a level that introduced the Icon mode, a mode functionally similar to the Impossible GameCube, and the newly showcased Ship mode. The second level was Back on Track, a level which showcased the new jump pad object. The third was Polargeist, a level which showcased the jump rings which you had to click for it to give you a jump. The 4th level, Dryout, introduced the gravity portal, which essentially worked the same as when Impossible Game levels flipped around. The 5th level, Base After Base, is what many believe to be the refined version of the original level Ultimate Destruction. The 6th level, Can't Let Go, is formatted similarly to Base After Base, while the 7th level, Jumper, is the final challenge for anyone who played during this time. Robtop also used an 8th song for Practice Mode, another feature taken from Impossible Game, a mode which allows you to learn harder levels through placing checkpoints. Robtop marketed his game similarly to the Impossible Game, but his strategy was superior. Impossible Game allowed you to play halfway through the first level of the game until putting the few remaining levels behind a paywall, while Geometry Dash gave you all the official levels of the game for free on a separate app. This app is known as Geometry Dash Lite, and it serves as the most downloaded app in the Geometry Dash series. Robtop had another genius strategy. Anyone who paid the $2 needed to break through the paywall would be greeted with their own level editor and the ability to play anyone else's level. This feature single-handedly built a community around Geometry Dash and ensured the game would have a constant stream of content going into it. Geometry Dash instantly started growing. Several important members of the community would start their journey in Geometry Dash on Update 1.0. Storm would be the first person to start making online levels. Storm made the first and third online Geometry Dash levels, the second online level being a test level made by Robtop. However, while Storm wouldn't create much of a name for himself, the story for the creator of the 4th oldest online level in the Geometry Dash servers would become one of the most important members of the Geometry Dash community, their username being the real Darnock. Darnock started by creating Gravity Field. This level may look like some pretty unimportant orb spam with barely any decoration, but this level implanted an idea in Robtop's head. For now though, Robtop wouldn't implement this idea into his game. Soon after, Darnock made a full-length level known as Chill Out. This level was the first level that's length can be compared to that of the official levels. This was the first level to ever get rated. A rate is when your level is given a star rating. Levels are given a different amount of stars based on their difficulty. If you beat the level, your star count gets boosted. There is a leaderboard comparing the amount of stars you have with other players, and if you work hard enough, you can be there today. Getting your level rated will give you 1 creator point, which will put you higher on this separate creator leaderboard. Darnock wasn't done yet. Next, he would make a level that added another layer of difficulty to Geometry Dash. See, in the beginning of Geometry Dash, there were only 5 difficulty types: easy, normal, hard, harder, and insane. The real Darnock would play a part in expanding this list. He released a level called Automatic. Like Gravity Field, this seemed like another insignificant level, a slightly synced mix of jump pads and basic blocks. However, just like Gravity Field, this would implant an idea in the community's consciousness, and no creator would end up taking a better advantage of this new idea than Jax. Around this time, Jax had only released 1 level, but his next creation would end up becoming the most famous level of the 1.0 update. Jax made a fully auto level called Auto Play Area, which was the 2nd automatic level to ever get rated, since unlike Darnock's level, Auto Play Area had decoration and some pretty satisfying sync. This prompted Robtop to make a new difficulty type called Auto, and while the 1 star value used to be reserved for easy levels, it was now replaced with the Auto difficulty. At the tail end of 1.0, a player known as Cody would release his first level. This level was creatively named 1, and it would become the last rated level of 1.0 before Geometry Dash would transition into the next update. Geometry Dash was only a month old when Robtop released the 1.1 update. This update contained a new level, Time Machine, a song made by the popular video game music artist Waterflame. The only new feature that Robtop added was the Mirror Portal, a portal that flipped around the screen. After this flip, the game still played the exact same way, just with your icon appearing to dash to the left side of the screen rather than the right. A lot of creators from the 1.0 era would update their levels with this new portal, which is why you may notice levels like Auto Play Area made before 1.1 had these. While creators like Jax and Cody used their mirror portals wisely to increase the quality of the level, some would use it for a difficulty increase. For example, in Darnock's newest level, Holy Flipperoni, the first jump of this level would consist of putting lots of mirror portals before the first jump, making many rage and giving the level a negative like to dislike ratio. Darnock didn't use mirror portal spam in his later levels, and he would eventually create a new level called Mind the Gap. This would become the first online insane rated level, meaning for a short time it was the hardest Geometry Dash level. This is also the first featured level in Geometry Dash history. A feature works the same as a rate, except Robtop has deemed it to be worth 2 creator points instead of just 1. If you're a creator, featured levels were what you would want to make. Around this time, the Geometry Dash community was made up of only a few thousand players, which meant Robtop allowed members of the Geometry Dash community to contact him through a mobile gaming forum known as Touch Arcade. During this time, Unity had come up with a mobile screen recorder known as EveryPlay. At the time, mobile screen recording was quite inconvenient, and most mobile game recordings would be someone filming their phone with a camera. This meant Geometry Dash wasn't able to spread on YouTube. This all changed when Darnock asked Robtop to integrate EveryPlay into Geometry Dash, and Robtop would introduce EveryPlay in a small bug fix update right before 1.2. And for the next few years, EveryPlay would be the main way most Geometry Dash YouTubers got their start. Meanwhile, Cody was becoming a more known name in the community, making new levels that got rates and features. One of these levels was called Level Easy, and while it seemed like a rather generic level, it would eventually become the most downloaded online Geometry Dash level of all time with 36 million downloads as of today. Around a month after 1.1 was released, 1.2 rolled around. It had a new song called Cycles and a new game mode, the Gravity Ball. Represented by a red portal, it makes your gravity flip every time you tap the screen. The auto difficulty started to gain more popularity within the creating scene, with Funny Game and Rabbit's automatic levels getting featured by Robtop. Although, this is not where the story ends with new Geometry Dash difficulties. There's still one infamous difficulty that I haven't told you about. Mid-M2 Cole had one online rated level when he revolutionized difficulty in quite the opposite way that Darnock and Jax did. Instead of creating the easiest difficulty, he would create the hardest difficulty. He released his new level Demon Park, which was harder than any other level at the time and used spikes inside of blocks to guide you. Robtop immediately took inspiration from this level's name and named the new difficulty Demon. Beating a demon level would give you 10 stars and some bragging rights. Unlike the auto difficulty, which would end up being officially implemented in the 1.7 update, the demon difficulty would be implemented in the very next update, Update 1.3. Speaking of that update, it would take a month after 1.2 for this update to release. This update rolled out more decoration and a new song. It contained a new type of orb and pad, the blue variant, which is based around changing your gravity. The new official level XStep innovated by creating a gameplay format that people started using. This gameplay features many blue pads lined up right before the beat drop of the level. With the official recognition of the demon rating, it would become a more popular difficulty to base a level off of. In this update, 2 landmark demons would be uploaded on the Geometry Dash servers. Jax's new demon level, the Nightmare, which would eventually become the most popular demon level, and Timeless's the Lightning Road, which was the first level to have a flashing background, a unique concept for the time. This level remains as the second most downloaded demon level of today. The difficulty of Geometry Dash levels increased by the day, and creators would start pushing the limits of difficulty on their levels to insane heights. Some could even say, extreme heights. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to be part 1 of a 9-part series, and when it's done, I'm going to combine it all into one big mega documentary, so leave anything that you want to say about this video in the comments below. And bye-bye.